eventually we're going to have to start this podcast, so let's do that now. Very rarely in life do you find yourself in a position where you can meet someone just out of the blue. Actually, we'll talk about that in a second, but also somebody who is genuinely inspiring by being themselves, having been through what they've been through. Dan is here tonight. Thank you so much for coming on. You contacted me, didn't you?
Yep.
And you said, this is who I am. And you sent me a link to this and another podcast.
Yep.
Saying this is what I've done. Right? I didn't listen to the other podcast on purpose.
Yep.
Because what happens with my brain, I'll absorb that and then I'm going to say the same things. So you were a soldier.
I was.
Can you explain about who you were?
So when I was at university, I joined the Royal Marines.
Right.
As a reservist to start. So I did all my training for the Royal Marines whilst I was at university.
Okay.
And then when I finished university, I then went in full time to 40 Commando in Taunton. And then with the plan of deploying to Afghanistan in 2010.
Okay.
And then we deployed to Afghan in 2010. That was Herrick 12, did that tour. And then come back and I trained recruits for a couple of years, did Arctic warfare training,
right,
and then eventually left. But I got bad PTSD out the back of the tour in 2010.
Okay. I've always wondered this, right? How long is a tour? Is there a set time?
6 months.
It is 6 months.
It was a little bit over just because we were handing over to the Americans at the time.
Right.
And it changed the dynamics a bit. It was like 6.5 months. Okay.
So you're in a position where you've trained through university, so then they swallow you whole. So you're already trained to deploy.
So I got my green beret whilst I was at university.
That's
basically it's like having a part-time job, but
full on part-time job.
Yeah.
Okay. So Afghanistan, full contact warfare.
Yeah. I was point man of a fighting troop for the whole tour. So I had metal detector in one hand, rifle in the other, and I basically the spearhead of every fighting patrol where we'd go out. And I was either trying to dodge bombs or stop people from basically ambushing us and shooting us. So that had to be super quick.
Okay.
But we just ended up having a super busy tour.
Right.
We lost 14 blokes.
Oh my God.
How many? You don't mind me asking?
That was out of the whole of the commando, so that's like a couple of hundred guys.
So 14 out of 200 is a lot.
Yeah, but 2 of them were just from my troop, and my troop was 30.
Right.
And then we had untold amount of injuries. It's like 3 in 1.
So what are the living conditions when you're out there?
So I was out in forward operating bases, just like small compounds that we were basically trying to protect, and we would use them to then go out and patrol on the ground in the green zone, and then either fight or dominate the ground. So that was effectively going out, liaising with locals, and then also going out on patrol to try and fight the enemy, basically.
Can I want to get inside your head a little bit about, you're told you're deployed. You knew you were going to deploy.
Yeah.
Because it's planned. This is not just on a Tuesday we're going to Afghanistan.
No. And at the time, most guys who were joining, especially the Marines at that time, were joining for a reason.
Yeah.
And they were mainly joining because they knew they wanted to go to Afghanistan. And that's, if I'm being honest, which I am, I would say I also did the same thing.
Okay. So how long did you know you were going to be going then? How long for?
From the moment I joined up.
Oh.
So
you knew joining up in the Marines in, I think it was 2007 I joined, 2006, 2007. I knew by joining I would be going to war, effectively.
Okay.
And that was always my intention.
Okay, what in your past, before the army, makes you make the decision to consciously go to war?
I think I was running away from quite difficult. I had a great upbringing, loved school, but I'm the eldest of 4. I don't know my dad. My mum's a single mum. I was the oldest. I was like the dad essentially,
bringing
everyone up. And my mum got together with my stepdad now, who's a fantastic guy, and when he kind of took over my role, I think I just wanted to escape and get away.
Was there any resentment about taking that role, or did you want to get?
No, he's fantastic. Yeah, he's a great guy.
That's fantastic.
And I think then, it was what can I do to get myself out of this? So go to university, and then I had no intention of going in the military. Right. I just literally was at Freshers' Fair. Someone who knew me from school was dressed in a military uniform and said, "Dan, are you still running?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Do you want to get paid to do it?" and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I turned up, went to training, and that was it. I was like fucking hooked by then.
Right, amazing. Okay,
is the sort of physical exercise of it is a massive part of it? Obviously.
Yeah,
is
so
that
I
a
was
big
a
part of
good.
the attraction?
Yeah, I grew up like a decent sportsman. I ran for the county. Right. You know, played basketball. You wouldn't believe it, but played basketball at a high level, and you know, I was extremely active. So when someone said, you know, you can get paid for being fit, I was like, well, you kind of fit.
All right,
fit in.
Yeah. Did they mention the whole gun?
Yeah, might get killed. Might get killed in the process.
That was the other thing. Was most people who joined had some like cadet experience or some kind of. Or I had family. All my family were in the SAS, but they were older.
Right. And
I didn't know them. They were dead before I was born.
Right.
I didn't know much about it. It kind of explains a few things now.
Okay.
But I knew nothing going in, like nothing. I was completely fresh.
Okay.
So
do you think that
interesting? In some aspects it helps. In some, it made it difficult because you got a lot of information to retain really quickly.
Yeah. I was thinking if you are grounded or based in knowledge going into the service, that might be detrimental to your being malleable enough to take
for sure.
On what you're doing.
To mould you to what they want.
Which at the end of the day, obviously we're all talking about being individuals, but if you're going into the military, you are taking on the fact that you are part of a bigger scene.
Yeah, and you get ground down at the beginning to like a baseline. Yeah. And then they try and build you up all similar, you know, with similar values and similar fitness, but everyone's different, you know, different body types and stuff like that.
I mean, my military was Haileybury CCF colour sergeant in that, was being groomed for the Royal Artillery because I decided that's what I wanted. Yeah. And thank God I broke my knee on the rugby pitch, and then the military disappeared.
Yeah, it disappeared into.
It's like, that's fine. And also, to be brutally honest, right, me in the military would have been a massive clusterfuck, because someone would have told me what to do, and I'd have gone bollocks, and that would have been the end. But
I think you think that.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not been my experience at all.
And that's not because
maybe in training.
Yeah, but then
when you're in it, like especially in the Marines, it's like a thinking man's army for a reason. Yeah. I was mates with people that are higher than me. Yeah. Like even at war. And if they valued my, you know, I was I was a Marine then. Yeah. And my, you know, captain who's in charge of me, my boss, would regularly ask me things.
Because he trusted you.
Yes.
And in that group of men.
And that's how you needed to be.
Yeah, exactly that. Also, it's good to hear that, because you hear an awful lot of military personnel say, well, you know, all of these people who come along there's no grounding in reality. They don't talk to the guys who know. But your guys did.
The Marines is different though. So in the army, if you're an officer, you train at Sandhurst. Yeah. Which is separate from the guys who, you know, go through infantry training or whatever, and then they get put together. Whereas in the Marines, it's all at one place in Lympstone in Devon.
Right.
And the officers train exactly the same place as the Marines train.
Okay. Do they train together?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Not all the time, but you see them.
Yeah.
And the difference is you see those guys having to do normally harder shit than what you've had to do as well.
Right, so that builds respect both ways.
It really does, yeah. So there's a bit more of like a respect level in the Marines than there is in the Army. And they don't get as many issues when it comes to officers. It doesn't mean there isn't any.
No, but still, if your officer's a dick, then he's a dick. Do you know what I mean? But if he's a team player, then that's that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, I'm mindful of time, so I want to move. Yeah. I want to move to... And I said this to you earlier. I read an Instagram post that you put up a couple of days ago or soon, and it was literally, well, it was this time. I think, was it 10 years?
It's 2010, so 15 years ago.
So 15. It was this time 15 years ago. I'd just been blown up, and I read it 3 times. For clarity, I was in the bath. I don't think that's important, but I was, and I read it, and I was like, what? So basically, we don't know each other, but we'd had a conversation at another group, and you come and met me, and we'd had a little bit of a chat, and I'm thinking, what are you talking about? And it turns out that you actually were, and this is the start of a journey to where you are now. So I'd love for you to tell that story, if that would be okay.
Yeah, so the easiest way of saying it is I won the Bronze Star with Valour from my tour in Afghanistan. I'm the 6th UK recipient of it.
Yep.
It's a US bravery medal, so it's really rare for a UK person to get that bravery medal.
Yep.
And I got it for 2 different things, essentially. It was a very strange day to get a letter from Barack Obama come through your door. I kind of open a letter and be like, well, what's going on here? But anyway, the incident you're talking about that you read was basically the day before the incident happened. I had been climbing trees and cutting trees down to improve the Sanger arcs. So where the main base was, people in the towers, they couldn't see line of sight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I was out cutting trees down because I used to be, I was a tree surgeon for a long time.
Right.
So I was using my tree surgery skills whilst out in Afghanistan being a soldier.
Okay.
But from the top of the tree, I could see down, and I could see lots of tripwires, and I could see all the ground sign where they had been digging.
Right.
Which you couldn't see from low down, but you could up the tree.
Okay.
This had happened the whole tour, and this incident happened weeks before I was leaving.
Oh, okay.
So I'd done the whole tour. I've done all the fighting. I've done all that. I'm quite what you would call an experienced person by then because of the amount of shit I've been in, basically.
Yeah.
So I've cut down the tree. I've come back and I've reported it to the boss. Look, boss, I found loads of tripwires in the river. There's loads of bombs all over there. And they go, we got a special job for you. So they send me out the next day with a US bomb disposal expert.
Right.
Me, him, his number 2, and a couple of other guys have basically got to go out on the ground, and I've got to show him where the bombs are.
Yep.
Now, it became apparent really quickly that he was not interested in me or trust me whatsoever. So I took him out, showed him where the bombs are, but the problem was there was a murder hole, which is just a hole put in a wall where the Taliban stick their weapons through and then spray you.
Right.
So there's a murder hole 5 meters away. Then I've told him where I think all the bombs are. So there's 2 in the river, 2 in the bank, 2 on the bank the other side of the river, and then there's like another 4 I can see up an alleyway. Right. Where the murder hole is, behind that is an orchard, and the Taliban used to use that orchard to sneak up on us, basically. Right. So I'm in a really, what I would call a shit situation. I'm covering him. He finds the first bomb, digs it out. It was super impressive. Literally rips it out the ground, snip, 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 diffuses the bomb. He's found a pressure plate with a jug with a load of explosives in. Right. Then, so I'm like, fucking hell, fair play.
Yeah, knows what he's doing. Fair enough.
He knows what he's fucking doing. And then he moves to the next one, and then he gets blown up, essentially. Okay. But we are between me and Lee. Okay. Far away. I get blown on my ass, like 5 to 10 meters, literally picked up. Yeah. Dust myself off, looking around, and there's just absolutely nothing wrong with me. Right. He's taken the complete blast. I've just been blown on my ass. Okay. I get up, turn my metal detector on. I look behind me, and everyone's like in shock. And then all the screaming starts, and shouting, and where is he? And his number 2 is now losing his mind, running around. So I've had to get hold of him.
In a place where there are bombs everywhere.
Yeah, in a place where there's bombs. He's in shock. Yeah. We then radio, the guy behind me's got a radio. We then radio to the boss to say everyone's all right, apart from the guy who's been blown up. There's no other injuries. I'm going to try and make an extraction route.
Yeah.
Now, the problem was, to get us out, I then had to negotiate around 4 bombs to get us on a route out, effectively.
Yeah.
So I managed to do that, but I was doing it sidestepping with my weapon behind, aiming at the murder hole, because I knew the likelihood was it was them that clapped him off and blew him up.
Yeah.
So it was a tense situation. I got a metal detector in one hand, rifle in the other.
Yeah.
And I'm just like trying to navigate us around the bombs. Anyway, I get us, it's like 30 meters.
Yeah.
Managed to snake us all through. At the same time, I'm calling to the guys who are on a wall overwatching us to find the body. Someone says, I can see a rag doll. I'm like, that's clearly going to be him. So we found him. I get all the guys to a form-up location. They put a ladder down. I get all the guys up and they're over the wall to safety. Yeah. I'm then like, right, I can see his body. I'm going to go and get his body.
Okay.
And that is one of the things that has haunted me forever, because I had been angry with myself for years. And why am I interested in going and saving someone who is clearly dead? And I don't mean it's like a question of being dead. He's dead. Really dead. So my sergeant goes, Dan, what you're doing, there's absolutely no reason for you to go and try and get him or save him or anything like that. You know, you've done enough. Yeah. So anyway, I leave. And that was one of the things I got my medal for.
Okay. Can I ask?
Yeah.
Can I ask? I for some reason I wanna know about the feelings involved in that. So you watch someone.
Yep.
Be blown apart.
Yep.
And you yourself were thrown back by this explosion. How do you come back from that? What's the reality of that?
So I think because it was towards the end of the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been blown up a lot of times. This wasn't the first.
This wasn't the first time.
So the same as I've fought with the enemy at close quarter.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah.
The initial feelings were, fuck off, like I've had enough of this, to be honest, because we're getting so close to the end of the tour.
You just want home.
I'm doing these, Dan, can you go and do this? Yeah, okay. And then I just get blown up again, and you're like, fucking hell, like how many things do you need to go to that nearly kill you? And I'd said to the guy, I was like, are you sure this is a good idea? Like, there must be a better way than us going along.
Yeah, with a pair of scissors, it's whatever.
Yeah, like there must be a better way. This is but he weren't interested, and also, you know, he's got his hierarchy and things going on, and that is his job. And that's fair.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of people.
But in my mind, being selfish,
yeah,
I'm like, I don't fucking need to be doing this.
Yeah.
So I was angry for years about that.
Yeah.
And even a bit angry at him.
Yeah.
Now I look back at it now, and I'm like, bloody hell, Dan, like, you're alive, he's not. It's not, you know. But at the time, I just felt like I was put in a situation that was...
Is it not rational, though, that because he didn't listen to you and what you knew, and the only reason you're out there is through your knowledge, isn't it right that you should be angry he didn't listen? I mean, I can see
to a
that.
degree. Yeah. But...
Doesn't help you mentally.
But the what I've learned over the years and dealing with everything and improving myself was that holding on to that anger doesn't help anything.
No.
Eventually, I needed to reframe it. You know, as you know, I learned a lot from that situation. I learned that that was extremely stressful.
Yeah.
And I could still perform, and I could still do what I needed to do.
And also,
even under that,
to point out, you got everyone else home safe.
Yeah, exactly.
And your instinct was still go and get him, even though he was dead.
Yes, yeah, and that was another thing. That's what got me to realise that a lot of the things I tried to do, because the first incident was all about me trying to save people as well.
Yeah.
And 2 of them, you know, you weren't going to save either, but then we did save 3 of them. So.
Okay, so we need to know now, what was the second incident?
So
the first incident.
The first incident was another patrol were out. I was in the patrol base. They got blown up, so 2 guys got injured.
Yeah.
Then we were the quick reaction force who were going to come out to aid them. to help with the evacuation of the injured.
Okay.
So, and I'm the point man, so as per usual, I've come out there's 11 of us, like a multiple. We've come out and we go to cross the river to where they are. They're in an area that had been hit by a 500-pound bomb. So it was a big building, but now it's walls like 3 foot high.
Right.
Because the whole thing's been obliterated.
Yep.
So I'm going across the river. As I'm coming down the bank into the river to come across to them, another explosion goes off. So they've had a secondary ID. So 2 casualties are now turned into 5. So now you've got a multiple on the ground of 11 or 50. I can't remember exactly how many guys were there, but they've got 5 casualties.
Right.
Yeah. And
so that's a lot.
It's a lot, and it takes a lot of people to drag one person out, let alone 5. So I've come across the river, and there's a wall in front of me. I get to the wall. I always hang back off the walls, because walls, they either channel bullets or they dig in bombs. Yeah. So because when you're by a wall and you've got like a straight edge, they can use it to aim off really well. So you don't want to be right on the wall effectively. So I'm off the wall, and I come along the wall, and then there's the end of the wall there, and I'm going to step round, and something in my brain's like, Dan, just stop.
Right.
Just stop. And this is where I think I think about this. This is the situation I've thought about for years. Mm-hmm. This is where I've started looking at myself from bird's eye view.
Okay.
I'm not really feel like myself anymore. And I'm looking down on myself. Something's screaming at me, Dan, do not put your foot down. And I look down, and lo and behold, I can see a fine little metal edge under my foot.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, so that's a pressure plate.
Yeah.
And I've got my foot just above the pressure plate. Take my foot off, turn around to my section commander and go, come here, come and have a look at this. And he's like, yeah, that's a bomb. Okay. So we turn around. I was inches away from putting my foot on that. We've already got 5 casualties. I come back in the river, start working my way up the river, and then again, stop. And I look down in the river. Oh, there's a tripwire.
Jesus. Okay.
What's
telling you then at this point? I mean, just intuition, experience.
Experience, yeah. I think it's because we had done so much before.
Yeah.
And it had been so busy that I was pinging. So ground sign was the main. You had a metal detector, which to me was like a secondary device. It was there to confirm that I had found something. Yeah. But most of the time, it was stuff I would see.
Okay.
So for example, once we were coming along and there were a load of birds pecking at the ground, but you couldn't see a lot. And I was like, why are the birds pecking at the ground? It's because it had been dug up.
Right.
It's stuff like that just makes you realise.
It's little signs that you pick up that keep you alive.
There's loads of kids around and they're all running around and they won't run in one bit.
Right.
There's normally a reason they won't run in one bit.
Yeah.
So the things that aren't happening or
exactly.
that are unusual, isn't
yeah,
it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, atmospherics, we would call it in the military.
Oh, okay.
So I come back in the river, tripwire. My other mate finds another tripwire as well.
Right.
With a grenade on, like one of the old Russian pineapple grenades on the end.
Right.
So I come back and then I basically find like a angled route to them. We get to them and it's just a mess. Like you get there, 2 guys, no one's dead. 2 guys are in such a bad state that you know they're not going to make it.
Yep.
One of them was one of my best mates from the Marines, so that was not good.
No.
And then you've got one guy who was massive in a bomb crater, who's, you know, his eye's bad, he's missing some fingers, that type of thing. And then one guy's got blast injuries all up backs of his legs and his back, and then one guy's hurt his arm. So we start by getting the worst injured out first on stretchers. I take my mate, and then as we take him through the route that I've created, we've then got to run 200, maybe just a bit less, meters across a field to drop off the casualties. Now the problem was, as we started taking them across, the Taliban engaged us from both sides.
Jesus Christ.
So then we've got bullets pinging off everywhere whilst we're running the first casualty out. I then had to do.
Come back again.
I then did another 3.
Yeah.
So I did 4 of the 5 casualties evacuations. So it was just like going. And then we got everyone out. The last guy who had the blast injuries to his back, we ran out of stretchers to take a ladder, and we stuck him on a ladder,
right,
and dragged him out that way. But that was easily the hardest thing I've ever done, mentally and physically.
God damn, yeah.
Yeah. I've never felt that. Like, I've done some big mountains and some big stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got big stuff coming up as well.
Yes, you do.
But I've still never, ever felt that fucked after something before. But we then fought the Taliban for a few hours after that. So
right, so there was no rest.
So those 2 incidents are what I got a medal for.
Okay, and I have to say, quite rightly,
you don't. The thing is, you're not
doing it for a medal.
You just don't even think about a medal. So when the letter came, and I found out I got a medal, I rang my sergeant major. I was like, "Hey, Bungie,
what the hell's
what the
that?"
fuck's this? Yeah, because also I didn't know anything about American medals either, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's quite a big deal."
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, oh, "Okay,
I'll pay attention."
Yeah. So it was yeah, and then that with my friend, that incident with my mate and trying to save people, not being able to save people.
Yeah.
That mixed with drink, winning a medal, having to go to champagne dues and get that all the time, and your citation read out, which they're clapping, and I'm thinking that's my mate getting blown up. And, you know, we lost.
So there's negative association.
We lost 2 people there, one American and my mate.
Yeah, it must be. I mean, I'm going to use the word odd, but that doesn't even cover it. To be in a celebrated position when actually people have died.
Yeah, really, really difficult. It's the reliving of that situation because it was so intense. You're reliving it, and it's not a memory; it's a trauma.
Yeah,
and you know, and then it took me years to
remove. I mean, that the fundamentals of PTSD,
complex PTSD
are right there.
Yeah,
exactly. And complex is right.
Yeah.
There are so many different levels and parts of that one situation.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 situations with the same complexity.
Yeah, and the thing is, this happened, you know, probably 40 times. So.
Yeah. So it's
the chances. I only got a medal for those 2. There's tons of other stuff.
People may not realise who are watching this as well is that PTSD is not usually born of one situation. It is usually accumulative.
Yeah,
Hence,
over and
complex.
over again. Yeah.
So what you do is there's a build up, and you may not be aware, by the way, that you've had PTSD at the beginning of this situation, but by the end of it, you're going to be in that cycle.
Yeah.
How do you break out of that cycle? I want to jump ahead now. So
of course.
When you start to deal with all this and unravel all of this, so you said about drinking.
Yep.
Drinking to cope, drinking.
Yeah, all of it.
Just full on addiction for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
You know,
because part of your remit now is to get.
Yeah, I run alcohol courses for people. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I love that because it's learned like actual life experience.
Well, also I know firsthand if you're dealing with PTSD or issues.
Yeah.
And you are drinking, you are either slowing it down or you're making it impossible.
Yeah. Okay.
Like being completely honest.
We're gonna get to that. How did you yourself, right? How did you deal with that? Put yourself together. Put yourself in a place where you could look at it safely. I mean, what was your journey with that?
Yeah. So it took a long time, a lot of patience, and support of good people. So family are great. Yeah. My partner at the time was great.
Yeah.
And I went to military charity to start with. That didn't last 5 minutes.
Okay.
I went to the NHS, got some CBD, then touched the surface.
Yep.
So then I paid privately. I got EMDR therapy.
Yep.
And that got the ball rolling.
Okay.
So I had bad flashbacks every day.
Yep.
And I would have night terrors. And then I was drinking all the time.
Right.
But the EMDR stopped the flashbacks during the day.
Okay. How does that manifest? So EMDR, I don't know how that rolls. So are you brought back and do you confront what you've seen?
So with the EMDR therapy I had 2 like vibrating balls in my hand, basically.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do it with eyes, sometimes they do it with... The one I was doing was 2 vibrating, and then you talk about what you went through, what you're going through, or what's wrong with you, happening for you at the moment, or those situations. And my understanding of it is it's then taking that trauma and starting to transfer it into a memory and move it from one part of your brain to the other. Okay. And then your response to that is then different. So there's no way I could have sat here talking about any of this like years ago.
The only because I don't know you very well. When we were talking before, and I'm like, so what can we talk about? And you just said I can talk about anything. And
because I've
well, that shines a light on your recovery, your journey.
Oh yeah, 100%, yeah.
Because also everything, addiction on top of all of this makes everything, as you've said, makes everything worse, because you can't get through the fog of the alcohol or the substance to get to the real thing.
And the drink was always an issue. The drink's almost a separate thing. I've grown up in a what you would call lower class environment. Yeah, we started drinking young.
Yeah. Also,
whenever I won, military, university, it's all geared towards.
Yeah. So the recovery, if you want to call it that, started after you left the military.
Yeah,
consciously.
What
triggered the start?
So I stayed in the military. So it was either I was doing the briefing course for Special Forces. I had a good chat with my sergeant major at the time, and he said, "Are you sure you want to do this? Because I reckon you could go on to do much better things outside the military." And I was like, do you know what? I think you might be onto something.
Right.
And it didn't come from a case of he didn't think I was good for the military. I was good in the military. It's just who I would have become as a result.
Right.
And I think... So I was there I think I left in 2014, so 4 years.
4 years after you came home?
Yeah. I just finished Arctic, like a stint in the Arctic.
Right.
And I'd come top of like the soldiering cadre we were on.
Can I ask, in between you coming home...
Yep.
And then going to the Arctic, doing the Arctic training, all of that, was it addressed? Was your situation addressed?
No, but because they weren't aware, because I was a super high functioning soldier.
Right, so you suppressed everything.
Everything.
And that's why, presumably, when you came
not outside. Outside, I was going and getting pissed, getting in fights, doing all the usual bad stuff.
Yeah.
But inside the military, I was
top game,
high performing soldier. Yeah.
Right. Wow.
And now I go skiing with guys who are in charge of me because they're my mates.
Yeah.
I go skiing with them every year, and they say like we had absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
It was only when I went on some piss up that they were like, "Oh dear."
Yeah, that's gone wrong.
Yeah, the red flags were flying.
Okay. What I find amazing is that there is a way back from that.
Oh, 100%.
And I really want to stress that. Okay, we've never had somebody who has had your involvement in conflict and also your ability to find your way out for others. And that's epic. And also I feel like, and it's an Americanism, but thank you so much for doing that and being that soldier as well. And I know I'm not part of that, and it feels weird to say thank you for that, but because of people like you, we are able to function forwards in our society. And I've said this many times, I don't think that military personnel and the shits they go through is ever recognised fully by anyone. And then the problems we have with veterans when they come home is they're trained to do these things, and then they have no purpose and they have no direction and are not helped in a useful, sculpted way that can give them actual help.
Yeah.
You had to buy your help when it should have been given to you.
Yes, there is help out there.
Yeah.
It's just, in my experience now, I've been helping veterans for 6 years now.
Yeah.
The money just doesn't quite go where it needs to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people doing things, and there's a lot of money floating about, but the money magically just never seems to quite go where people need it.
No. And also...
Which is what I do.
I mean... I don't care if we name names or we don't, but you told me about that. There's one charity that spent 95% of the money they raise on advertising.
Yeah, on marketing, yeah.
Right. And marketing and advertising to tell people to get in more money.
Yeah, or putting on events, which then...
Yeah, for higher end people to use as tax dodges and all of this. What appalls me about anything, and that's why our charity, because we're tiny weeny, but our charity, right, I never touch any money because it horrifies me to think that I could abuse that. And as a human being, I know I'm capable of it because people are.
Yeah, it's the same as me saying I'm not capable of shooting people. But I am,
yeah, so. Well, you are. That's what you're trained to do it. And, I am not, by the way, likening me to anything else. I just feel a bit uncomfortable about what I just said. But what I mean is that as a charity CEO, I'm the person who can make things happen and do. But 100%. The guys like Lee and his wife Nikki, and they do the hard thing, the money. Yeah. No, you can't have that because of this. That's why. But they've actually not said that because I've not provided anything bad. But there was a. Are we allowed to talk about the medal?
Yes. I won't share names.
No names. No. Okay. Yeah. So it was a George Cross.
No.
What was it? That was
a George medal.
A George medal. Okay. So basically, this soldier has come home and he scored this George medal.
Yep.
Which is one of the highest.
It's high,
yeah. It's one of the highest. And because he didn't get any help and there was no support in that moment.
Yeah, there's been help on and off, but I think the problem is this is the point I really would like to make.
Okay.
Is that veterans do get help.
Yes.
Not all, but a lot do, and they get therapy.
Yep.
The problem is, if that was on a scale of -10 being their rock bottom, and +10 being what I would class me as close to now, is where I'd say I'm at.
Yep.
0 is normally where they get to if they're lucky with therapy.
Yep.
They are that's it.
Then they're cut off.
So that's their help.
Because the time runs out, or
everything. Yeah, time runs out, or therapy can only get them to there.
Right. Okay.
And this is my point, and what I'm trying to deliver is then to get them from the 0, or normally they're at about a -2 or -3 when they finish their therapy.
Yep.
And then they're supposed to get on with their life.
Right.
But the problem is they're not.
No.
They're not.
Because they need
a
to
lot
be.
of the time they're not capable of it.
Yeah, but also you'd need to be +2, +3 when you finish the therapy to then have the cognizance to understand what you need.
To then progress.
Yeah.
And work on yourself and do all the things you need to do. And that's why I retrained and trained doing what I do in positive psychology to move people from the 0 towards the +10, so that they can actually get on with their life.
I want to make a point based on that before we talk about what you're doing now, which incidentally I think is epic. Not that matters, but I want to say this: there are veterans in this country who have to sell their medals, to survive.
Yes.
Not just to live
to
nicely,
have a roof over their heads
to survive.
Kids. They sell bravery medals so that they can live. And that's the thing.
I've got goosebumps in the worst way just talking about that. And we've had this conversation before, but it appalls me. And there isn't a word for it, right? Not only have these people gone through service and they've done something so brave that they are rewarded for that, presumably saving people or helping extractions or whatever, like yourself.
In a big way,
and then they've got to sell the one thing that can validate them,
I mean, no one, like we said, no one does it for medals or anything like that. But from those experiences, fighting for the country, I know I don't fully agree with that. It's that like rhetoric, but they have done that and then got a bravery medal for the country, and then been dropped, and then to survive, and I do think it is a problem with not moving past that scale and what I'm explaining. Like just being dropped off. You've had your therapy.
Are you not grateful?
Doesn't mean you can now. I don't know whether it's like that, but
but it feels like right. I'm an outsider in this world, right? I don't
yeah.
But what I can tell you is I've dealt with a few veterans and people who are in trouble and needed help, and my question to them wasn't, well, how much is it? Right. My question to them was, what do you need? Where are you at? And then you sit down, you have a conversation with them, and they go, look, I need The one in question, obviously without names, was I really want a place to live and I've been homeless by choice.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't cope with that. So now I need housing. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening to that. And that happened.
Yes.
And then the other thing was, I'm so confused by life in general. Where I am, I don't relate to life. I'm removed from everything. Where do I go? What do I do? And they needed specific therapy and also life training to regain their independence. And that happened up to a point. But then another set of people had to step in to make sure it went all the way.
Yeah.
Right. And this is what you do now.
Yes.
This is who you are.
Yeah.
And what amazes me, right? So you've come through all of the combat, all of that, and alcoholism, and now you are sat on this position of ability to actually help the people who need it.
Yeah. Apart from, I don't have a charity, so I've been using my own money for the last 6 years.
Right.
But what I've noticed, and I can't do it forever.
No.
I need to set something up and do it that way. I get donations through to my private company, and I put the money directly to the people that need it. That's the difference. But what I've noticed is people need the money immediately. They don't need someone to, and I do mean it as it is. They don't need someone to climb Everest, have a target of £1 million and take 4 years to raise that money. They need the money now.
Yep.
Like they need to narrow the gap. They don't need people spreading awareness really for veterans, because everyone knows about it. It's just when they have a problem, they need that problem solving.
Addressed then.
Yes. So when someone comes to me and they say, Dan, I fucking lost my job. I need a job. Okay. Well, I've got quite a big network of people. I get on the phone.
Yeah.
Who needs a fucking paramedic? Yeah, you've got a job. There you go. Go and fucking be good. Because guess what? You are good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, you might have forgotten, but you are good.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is the fact that people aren't looking for handouts. People are looking
they're really not,
for life validation. So that job, right? You got somebody who needed validation in their life and a direction and the ability to fund their own lives without handouts. You got them a job, they can work for it, they can get it. That's validation of life, right?
Yeah, that's and it's not even, sometimes it might be that job don't work out, but then they've opened a load of doors and they've started talking to people, and all it does is,
puts you back in the world, and you
just puts you back in the world. But there's loads of people trying to do loads of good stuff. The difference is there's a time gap. There's a massive time gap, and a lot of it's veterans who are doing stuff, raising awareness and trying to raise money and stuff like that, and that's fantastic. It's just there's a real big lag in how you actually help people that doesn't really help people. So sometimes I've given people a loan, an interest-free loan. There's your loan, sort your life out. 3 months later, there's your money back down. Got myself a job, sorted my life out. That's no drama. I wish I had enough money for people like that. Say someone that's homeless or their car's bust and they need their car for work. Here you go, fix the car, get back on your feet.
And then give it back.
Exactly. Or if you can and you get enough donations, then they can have the money. But that's actual help. Because sometimes they don't need therapy. Sometimes they just need picking up for 5 minutes.
And I think, do you know what? I mean, that realisation just hit me. It's not always what you need is, right? The person, like, you can look at somebody and see where they're at. And normally when they're asking for something, that's the need. That's the real need.
Yeah,
right?
And that's why it needs to be quick.
And then, because look, I'm going to lose my house. I need a mortgage payment to give me a month to find another way. And then, that's that. The saddest thing of all, though, is because money, you have to jump through so many hoops for that money to be available for anything, unless you're who then just goes, okay, here it is, but you've got an obligation. That obligation as well, that isn't a noose around their neck, man. That obligation enables them, and they can go, okay, I've got to stand up now because I owe Dan this, right? And you may not think that way, but they might. That obligation to you.
When it's come to... So I've spent my life, especially when I was younger, being a bit of a people pleaser, for sure. And I have loaned out money to people and never got that money back. But I've never loaned that money to a veteran, never got it back.
Is that the brotherhood thing? That there's a
we've never actually spoken about it, to be fair. the money just comes back.
But
yeah, I mean, it would be.
It feels
I think
like that's
so.
sort of bred into you.
Yeah, and also when you help people at their lowest, they tend to
remember and push forward to make that right.
Yeah,
that's good. I mean,
but I don't want it to be like that.
No,
I need, I have a private company where people pay me to help them.
Yeah.
Either a CEO of a tech firm, someone that owns a mechanic's garage, or whatever. It can be all kinds of people.
Yeah.
I help them to improve so that they live a more purposeful and better life. That is what I do.
Yeah.
But I also do that for free for veterans.
Brilliant.
As well as the alcohol stuff, which I think is also really important.
It's really hard not to be a sycophant in this front. I think everything you do is spot on and honest and real, right? And I'm not
it could just be done better potentially.
Yeah, but you're doing it,
trying.
mate. Listen, there are a lot of people who talk about what needs to be done,
for sure.
or they go and do it.
I've always taken action,
and I respect that for whatever that's worth. I am very aware that we are running out of time, right? So I want to do two things. One, you're a bona fide explorer.
Yeah.
Right. So we were having a conversation about you doing. And he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm doing a race in the Antarctic, and we're doing all that." And I'm like, "Well, I didn't quite clock the Antarctic bit." Arctic. Sorry. See, I don't even remember what it was. Right. So the Arctic. Right. And then I suddenly went, "Okay, yeah, race in the Arctic. Okay." What? And you went, "Yeah, it's 300 miles." And I right, for a normal human being, right, like myself, that was. It took me a while, and I don't know if you noticed, but I then had to stop, and I ended up speaking about something else, and went, "Hold on a minute, what?" So, what does that look like? What's that race?
Basically, I do high altitude mountaineering.
Okay.
With a mate from mine from the military. He's a fantastic mountaineer. He's a lot better than me. But we have a fantastic time every year going to some big gnarly mountain.
Yep.
And we carry everything. We don't do guides. We do it all ourselves. We ice climb. We do everything.
Okay.
So we go and do big mountains every year. And then part of me quitting alcohol was that I needed some good goals to get me but the things I used to love when I was younger, running.
Yep.
So I started running again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to do an Ironman. So I booked the local triathlon, and within 6 months, I'd done that local triathlon.
Right.
And that came with the quitting drinking.
Yep.
So I did the triathlon. Fast forward a year later, done my first Ironman.
Okay.
That was always one of my goals I wanted to do. When I got back from war, spoke to my granddad. I was like, I'm going to do an Ironman.
Mm-hmm.
It just took me another 10 years after, unfortunately, but I got there.
You did it.
And now I'm doing another one.
Yeah.
And then I started ultra running again.
Yeah.
I used to, when I was younger, I used to run, 50-mile races, things like that. So I started doing that again. Started loving it. Then the mountains got better and I got stronger. And, suddenly I'm summiting mountains that are super hard.
Yeah.
Also failing on some mountains and learning about myself too.
Okay.
And then I thought, do you know what? I've always wanted to do one of those massive races in the Arctic that you see, it's the toughest race in the world and, all that bollocks.
Mm.
And I thought, I'm going to get into the Montane Arctic Spine Race, which is one of the hardest races in the world.
Yeah.
Along the King's Trail in Sweden, 300 miles. Fully self-supported, so skis, pulling a poke, take a tent, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you have to tick a load of boxes to get into a race like that. So you've got to have done multiple stage races, big, long, 100-mile type races.
You've got to prove yourself in the world before
and
they'll
you've got
look
to
at
have
you.
lived in proper Arctic conditions, which I've done in the military.
Yeah.
I've done up mountains. I was on Denali last year, which is one of the coldest mountains on the planet.
Yep.
And that was fun and amazing. So I got into that, and now I'm Ironman in 2 weeks, and then it's just full train, get my legs as strong as humanly possible to do that race in February.
Okay.
And I want to be competitive, not just...
You don't want to just be in it.
Nah.
You want to do it.
Yeah.
I can see that in your eyes as you speak about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit of me, that.
There are two things that I want to do. The first thing is, when you've done that race, will you come back?
Oh, 100%.
Because I don't know about you, but I need to hear all about it.
Yeah, and it should be, it should be. It's a big race.
Yeah.
There'll be some good coverage from it as well.
I don't think there's anything bigger than that, mate.
There are.
Right. I do need. What's the name of your company?
Yeah, Atomic Rambo is the name.
Atomic Rambo. Okay, we will have the link to that in the doobly-doo underneath. I just want to thank you so much for coming in and being so honest and all that. Also, I'd like to work together somehow.
Yeah, same. Yeah, but that's why I initially contacted you, because I could see you were doing good things. I just moved to Hartford, and that's the way I am. I want to meet good people. So
it's amazing. Thank you for your contact. That's amazing. The trouble with 50 and coping is it's on the internet, and we are governed by time, and we've run out of it. Dan, I'm going to hold you to that coming back after that race.
Yeah.
Or I might just
as long as I'm breathing, I'm back.
Yeah, I might just invite you beforehand anyway, so that's fine. But look, 50 and coping is about looking at coping with life, and I don't think there's a better example of coping with absolute adversity than Dan. So it's amazing to see you.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you next time.